Hello all, welcome to our ZoidsRush video. I'm your host, Tmzoids, also known as Tony, and today we're going to be talking about streaming. Now, no, this is not going to be, you should stream on Twitch, you should stream on YouTube, you should stream on Kick. No, it's not that type of video. Actually, this video sparked from a tweet, which I'm going to show here in a second on the screen, about how Twitch streaming full-time is less feasible for people. And after much thought and consideration about it, and thinking about the topic, and, the history of Twitch, I thought, was it ever viable or feasible for most people? And for a majority of the people, spoiler alert, it's no. Let's be honest. If I had a percentage on it, I would say about 90%, and I think I'm being generous, of people that are streaming are probably not, it's probably not feasible for you. Now, for the 1%, the top 1%, of course, they are, the outliers, I guess you could say, that are, it's very feasible. And then you have the mid tier. And I'm giving them 8% or 9%, depending on how you look at it, which is a lot, I think, depending, could be very generous, depending on who you ask or what you're specifically looking for. But let's get right into this. So first, let's look at the tweet. I don't want to misquote anything. The tweet reads, Twitch streaming at a full-time is less feasible for people since all the changes Twitch has made this year, which is, quote, very important. My income has plummeted to less than half. I'm digging into savings and figuring shit out. Don't put all your eggs into full-time content, which we'll talk about here in a second, because of that landscape is done. So first things first, I think there's a difference between content creation and streaming. I think those are two different entities. You can stream or be a full-time streamer, but that does not make you a full-time content creator. I might interchange the words. I'm tongue-twisting, as you can see already, but I might interchange the words throughout this video, so keep that in mind. They are a difference in my opinion, and why I say there's a difference, taking, like, for example, Tyler One. Tyler One is a full-time streamer and constantly streams League of Legends content. I'm not saying he's not making full-time content, because he is. He's streaming full-time, and you could argue that is content in itself. But when I think of content creation, I think of, Mr. Beast. I know he's in a lot of hot water. Whatever you think about him right now, that's besides the point. He's making a video, content for you, full-time content creation, YouTube. Now, I came across a tweet, and I just want to be very clear. I don't know who this person is. It's because Uber Guitar Dude is who I follow on Twitter, and I just saw his response to this tweet, and this is how I saw the tweet in the first place. I don't know anything about this streamer. I don't know what they stream. I don't know what they do. I don't know anything about their streams or their personality or what kind of content they're making outside of Twitch or anything in that sense. I did find it funny, though, that she posted this about Twitch, and as you can see here off the side, it does say she's an ambassador. So a Twitch ambassador making this tweet is quite interesting, and this is where this all started. Before she did respond to Uber Guitar Dude, which I didn't know prior, I just went and looked at her stream to see how long she was subbed for or had a sub button. It looks like she's been streaming since 2017, which is about 7 years, and before the COVID boom. And when people say that there are COVID streamers, there's an inside, I guess, depending on who you talk to, that would talk about, people that got partnership or COVID streamers that are now doing quite well. Some of them aren't doing well anymore, but saw a very high uptick of people during that time. But anyways, I want to go back. People's favorite time is actually 2017, because why? Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch. The Me Too movement was going on back then. A lot was happening in 2017, which I think the history of Twitch talks ages and talks about so much stuff that I don't think it's just about this year, which makes their claim. And I just want to talk briefly about esports. So esports back then, I think, was a great thing. Esports, if you see here on the screen, it talks about League of Legends Worlds. We're breaking records, having a record viewership broken at 6.4 million, surpassing the previous record held in 2021 with the Free Fire World Series at 5.4 million views. You had 6.4 watching the biggest, on-screen video game time of the year. Now, that being said, is esports profitable? Back then, some could argue maybe yes or no. It was growing, it was thriving, it was having great time on Twitch. Numbers were, I think, doing a lot better than they are doing now. Esports teams have drastically changed, how LCS and how League of Legends does their things, and Dota talks about Dota here, and PUBG and other competitions. have conducted their esports scenes. And if you do not remember, throughout the time of history, there was great debate or argument of, is esports willing to be on ESPN? Is it willing to be like talked about and viewed? And is it a sport? Are people really competitive? Are people really like actually doing anything? Can this be considered a sport? And it's an esport. And there was great conversation between ESPN and content creators and just esports players, and it sparked great conversation. Now, as you know, as of today in 2024 or 2023, we have very good evidence from Ludwig's videos and Disguised Toast videos, if you want to go check those out, of having esports as a sinking, dying ship. So they spent $1 million. They've lost $1 million in their esports team. They are passionate about esports. I think Ludwig is now with Moist Critical, which is Charlie, and they have a combined esports team. They're working as a partnership to bring in a great esports team, and they have great players. They're doing quite well. They're not like the bottom of the barrel by any means when it comes to esports teams, but they are losing money and it's not profitable for them. And it shows that esports right now is not in a good spot compared to last, like I said, when esports was I wouldn't say thriving, but doing a lot better, gaining traction. Twitch benefit from this. Twitch, put in money into this. Twitch was the only place you could see esports at the time. And now you look at esports, you go to the League of Legends page and you can watch it right there and get rewards if you're, a League fan or Riot fan. And then, of course, you could watch it on YouTube now with their playback ability and their pause ability. You can pause it right at then. And their VODs are just 10 times better if you're planning to watch a VOD compared to Twitch. So things have changed drastically for esports, but I think it plays a part of streaming. It plays an important history in part of streaming. But I just want to talk about that really quickly. And then let's go to the next thing. We're going to be talking about streamers. That's right. 2017, Mixer was made. Well, Mixer wasn't made in 2017. It was actually made in 2016. And then Microsoft bought it out and then ends up signing Ninja to a deal in 2019. Now, of course, this is in 2017. You're probably like, why are you talking about this? But your top streamers back then were completely different. Your top 1%, or you want to say your top 1%, which was Ninja at the time, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect before he got banned in 2017, were your top dogs. You had a few other people and players in that game. Of course, you had Pokemon at that time and others that I'm not going to mention. But there are plenty of people and names that I can't think of off the top of my head that were at your top 1%. And those have changed. The content and the people that have changed. Your League of Legends content creator is not your top dog anymore. Ninja's not your top dog anymore. But you go switch to 2019, Mixer took two of your big people. Ninja and Shroud took the contracts with Mixer, and Mixer ends up closing in 2020. They actually end up working with Facebook for a little bit of time in 2020, and then things close the doors, and then it just kind of dies out. Ninja, as you know, goes back to Twitch and yada, yada, yada. But this was a huge deal, right? Twitch was your big guy, or Ninja was your big guy back then. And for a huge amount of money, if you look at it here, 6 years for $932 million. Now you're probably like, oh, that's nothing, when you have XQC with a huge, probably the most, monumental contract in that time. We're going to come back to contracts because we're going to talk about money a little bit later in this because I want to talk about Twitch affiliation. That's right. 2017 of April, as you can see from the top there, Twitch came out with this program, and I think this ultimately changed Twitch. I don't know, some would say for the good, some would say for the bad, but this really changed the Twitch environment. Now, real quickly, before this, the only way you could be a partner with Twitch was you would have to apply for partnership. You would put in your little email, there was a link, right? And it'd be sent to Twitch, right? And you'd type all your stuff, and it would ask you all your numbers and your YouTube stuff, and you'd type it away, and you're just doing your thing. And that was the only way. And I think, thinking back at it, it could be a little biased. Who you knew and what you knew, or who you shook hands with and who you knew, probably played a big part if you're a partner back then. It was just like, hey, you run into this person at TwitchCon back then, or if you knew this person came across your stream and you had inner workings with stream, or they're your Twitch partner, or they work with you personally or work over your cases or whatever the case may be, you might have a little bit favorable, a little bit favored to become a partner. Now they change the way they have achievements of making goals or things that you want to reach before you can apply for those things. You could probably still apply for partner if you really wanted to email Twitch personally, if you haven't reached those goals and you believe that you should be partner. But affiliation programs specifically changed the game because one, you look at affiliates and you look at partners now, there's not much difference. Yes, maybe partners get some features prior or a little bit before affiliates do, and maybe some things that get rolled out, like I said, through Twitch, if it be a new monetary thing or a new program, it goes through partners. And if it's something successful, partners usually get it like a couple months or a couple, maybe even 6 months if we're really being generous before affiliates get it. And then it rolled out to everybody usually. But when it comes to affiliates and Twitch partners, you're not getting much difference. You're getting the same amount of pay, you're getting the same amount of bits, you're getting the same amount, or when I say getting the same amount, you can get bits, you can play ads, you get the sub badges, you get the emotes. Partners, of course, get the little fancy partner badge, and of course, if you go to TwitchCon, which is going on right now as I'm filming this video, you can go to the partner party or the partner lounge party or whatever it's called. They change up the name every time, and you get that VIP access. So there's that for you for a Twitch partner. But other than that, even your streaming, you can stream at such high quality rate that there's really little difference between partnership and affiliation program. And why I bring this up is because I think this gives a fake kind of a motivation, in my opinion. And that comes through the monetary value, which we'll circle back around, like I said, for the money. Why is this important? Well, as I said in my last video, Twitch or YouTube has not paid me at all. I've never seen a dollar from Google. I've never seen a dollar from YouTube Incorporated. It's never gotten to my account, never seen an amount of money ever. My videos don't make any type of money. And I've pumped hours of content, I should say, but pumped hours of video out and pumped out plenty of videos, not on top of that, not even the hours, but just videos themselves. And I'm not seeing a penny. Whereas I'm an affiliate with Twitch, I'm guilty of this myself, and I've reached over the $100 goal that they set you, and I've gotten money. Twitch has paid me. I'm not gonna lie about that. Through the bits and the subs and the gifted people and the generous people in my community, I've seen a good amount of money, and that could be a big motivational factor. Especially if you could be like, hey, this is something, I'm growing, my numbers are up, I received my first paycheck, whatever it may be. It might be $50, but that $50 is a motivational factor. You're like, holy cow, I'm making money off this. This could be an actual thing. And then the following month, you're getting paid and you're putting more hours and you're playing more ads and you're getting more subs, and then people are growing. And the affiliation program has such a little requirement compared to partnership. It's very attainable. Whereas YouTube, I have pumped out, like I said, many hours of video, and I've pumped out many things of videos and content and all that jazz. And I'm still not a partner with YouTube. Yes, I have my YouTube partner because I've reached out to a company, and a company helped me get my name, and I have my name on my YouTube, and which people don't have, right? People get this weird link when they link to your profile. But if you type in youtube.com/Tmzoids, I actually pop over at Tmzoids, I believe it is. But here it is. These are the requirements: 50 followers, 500 minutes, 7 days out of 30 days, and have an average of 3 concurrent viewers. It's nothing. It's very minimal effort, especially if you have a couple friends. If you and your friend, your significant other all watch, there you go. Or not you, but 2 of your friends and a significant other, or anybody. As long as you have those 3 concurrent viewers, that's probably the hardest part out of this. The 500 minutes, the 7 days is nothing. I mean, the 500 minutes you can easily hit in 30 days, and 50 followers, that might be a hit or miss depending on how difficult that is. But the achievement is so much easier. But when I talk about payment, and I think a lot of people don't talk about this enough, is about getting paid. When it comes to Twitch streaming, you get paid once a month. And just to be clear, not everybody gets paid monthly. Only 10% of people get paid, according to this chart of the Bureau of the government. This is the United States, by the way, I want to be clear, get paid monthly, once a month. And Twitch is one of those people. So 10% of your population, this is not something people are used to. So you have to really plan and think about these things You know, bi-weekly, of course, is the most popular, and semi-monthly, and then these two are up there, right? But so this is something that you really got to plan and think about, because if you're getting paid every time on the 15th, you have to make that money stretch. You have to make sure, hey, all my bills are paid, everything's covered, and then some. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. One, like I said, you don't get paid till the 15th of next month. Rent is due the first, baby. They don't care. Landlord's not going to be like, you stream on Twitch? Okay, well, wait till the 15th. Some people might have some kind of weird rent agreement or something worked out where their payments come out later, which you can do if you have credit cards or this or that. But mostly some of your payments come out that first week, the first 2 weeks. That's a long time. So that's something to adjust to. Also, Twitch streamers hate tax time. When you get paid, a lot of people, if you're doing your taxes correctly as a Twitch streamer, a lot of people hate tax time because they owe the government. The government wants their money back. So out of that monthly pay, you also have to put at least 20% down, if not more or less, depending on how your taxes are, where your tax bracket is, where you live, all that stuff. Some people would say 30%. So 30% you have to stash away right off the rip. Sorry for these random noises like shoom, shoom, shoom. But you have to stash those away, put it away for taxes, be ready for that time, because when April hits, that's their worst month of the year. They hate it. They despise it. And even though they get paid that month, let me tell you, that's the worst month of their history, their time there. On top of that, benefits. You know, people don't talk about that because we're young, you know, we're healthy. I don't need to go to the doctor. My teeth are good. My eyes are good. I can hear, you know, even though I got a headset on all the time, playing games, or I had headphones in. It can take a toll, and that's expensive. It doesn't come out. You know, most people that have a normal, quote unquote, normal job have benefits that are attached to their job. Sometimes they get medical, sometimes they get the whole package, depending on your job. Some people don't offer medical, and you got to do your own thing anyway. But those are things that you have to also consider. And let me tell you, that's why some streamers are like, I'm like sick and my arm is twisted like this, and I'm not going to go to the doctor. If it still hurts in a month, I'll go. You know, how many times have you heard that from streamers that are like, end up just being in pain or not feeling well and not having that, like, that assurance from insurance, or that insurance of maybe even too high of a copay to go to the doctor, and they're not feeling well. So that's something to keep in mind. And lastly, yes, once again, you're young, but something to think about is retirement. Everybody's like, yeah, well, I could be 80 and play video games and streaming. And there are older people that play video games, and there is no age limit to video games or streaming. But is Twitch going to be around when you're 80? Is it a viable thing? And as you saw from the top 1% of streamers, people don't have it in them a long time. You can see from Pokimane. Pokimane is not... she's streaming on Twitch, and she's doing her YouTube videos, and she's still around. She's doing other things, but she wants to experience life in a different way. She's not strapped to a contract anymore. She doesn't have to put in the hours anymore. She can live freely and do what she wants. And that is because, you know, one, she was at the top 1% of the streamers, but also she's managed her money and budgeted correctly and able to do those things now that, you know, she doesn't have to completely depend on streaming and whatnot. Talking about pay, we were going to bring it back around. Those are two things that are also drastically different from today's climate. Twitch and the YouTube and Kick, are you going here, are you going there? Those exclusive contracts aren't a thing anymore. 2017, people were like, are you going to YouTube? Are you going to Facebook? Are you staying on Twitch? Where are you streaming? Oh my God. Like, where are you going? Where are you going? It was like the biggest thing. And then the contract numbers would come out, and they would be like, oh my God, XQC signed $1 billion contract with Kick. And it was insane. You know, those were always talked about. Will they stay with Twitch? Or they go on the YouTube? And they always had their announcement videos. Now, exclusive partner contracts are a thing to keep streamers, you know, keeps them on their platform. And now things with multi-streaming was like a big contestant. Could you do it? Some people weren't doing it. Some people said that's the best way to do it. Some people don't believe in that. Stick in your program. Stick with what you think is working correctly. Excuse me, by the way. And then you saw Ninja. He was one of those people that pushed the limits. He was multi-streaming, and Twitch doubled down at first. They said, hey, You can't be multi-streaming. You can't be on YouTube and at Twitch at the same time. That's a no, no, no. You can be on TikTok and Twitch, but no, 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 not YouTube, not our competitor. Now, of course, they reversed this decision and they decided, hey, you can multi-stream, you can be on multiple platforms at this time, which has changed, completely changed the game. And some people do it, some people multi-stream and have different things going on. Some people still don't believe in it. People don't want to do it. Totally understandable. But these contracts, these exclusive contracts, are gone. They're not being offered anymore. People aren't getting them anymore. We're not too sure about Kick specifically, but Twitch hasn't really offered any exclusive contracts. Nobody on YouTube's been really offered exclusive contracts anymore. They do have the Partner Plus program, which I do recommend if you are thinking of this as being a job. If you're on Twitch and Twitch is your main source of income, you should push for the Partner Plus program, which is pretty much if you get the first goal, I believe it's there's two types of goals. There's like a 60-40 goal, and then there's a 70-30 goal. The 70-30 goal, of course, is a little bit harder to reach. 3 months in a row, you have to get like 300 unique subs or something to that extent, and then you get points for every sub. So it's a lot. It's, it's something to think about if you're on Twitch, which is totally different than it was, right? You had those exclusive contracts. People were getting different pay rates. People were getting only 50-50. Even partners were only getting 50-50, only if you had like a Twitch manager. And then some people were maybe getting 60-40. But now with Partner Plus, it's pretty transparent if you got it or not. And you keep that for a whole year. And then you have to, if you have reached that 300 goal sub mark before your year's up, somewhere in there, or the month before, or the month after, or whatever the case may be, within that year, you get to keep it for another year. So it's pretty easy if you can time that correctly, or at least get one of those months with unique subs and push those unique subs. But as course, we have to talk about, COVID. COVID was a outlier, and of course a weird time for tech companies. Tech companies were adding all this staff. 2020 through 2022 was insane. You had tech companies, Meta, Twitch, Amazon, Facebook, whatever you want to call it, Twitter, this, that, all hiring. Google, YouTube, they're all the same entities. Their parent companies own them, but that's besides the point. They were hiring all these people. People were working from home. People were watching. They were getting the stimulus checks. And like you said, you had the COVID streamers, quote unquote, the COVID streamers that grew and ended up being partners and getting partnership during that time. And viewers were up and everything was watching, and live streaming was up and everything was up because everybody was home and everybody was locked in and nobody could do anything. And Twitch was thriving and the numbers were up and everything was crazy. Woo! Fun times. And then the unthinkable happened. Things started to open back up. The world started opening back up. People were going back to work. People that weren't working at home had to go back to the office. You had the stimulus checks dry up real quick. The government was like, no more, depending on the state you live. Nada. We'll get back to you on that. And things started, dying down. You didn't need as much staff, and Twitch being one of those people that suffered it and cut third of its staff, 500 employees, 35% of its headcount. Boom, cut. And that was after, I believe this was after another cut. They've cut people multiple times, 400 roles in 2023, and then they cut another 500. 35% of their employees are gone. They lost their job. They have to find new work, and that just went across the tech sector. It was not just Twitch. Google cut people. Amazon, even though its parent company, cut people. Meta was cutting people, which is Facebook, if you don't know. People were cutting jobs across the way. And let me tell you, some people had to go to a different job, work harder, to work different jobs, work 3 jobs, get 2 jobs. Things are getting crazy. And, it plays a role. It plays a role in what was going on. Twitch, how Twitch has handled its decisions and everything, of course. And then you had Twitch is still losing money. As we've seen, this has been an ongoing conversation. If Twitch is going to be a thing in the future, is Twitch even profitable? Will it still be a streaming platform in the future? Because as they say, they're still losing money. They're not profitable. Amazon bought it for like $1 billion, I believe. I can't see this article because Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal wants me to pay, and you can, shove it where the sun don't shine because I'm not paying for this article. But anyway, pretty much Twitch is, this has been an ongoing thing. Twitch releases its like stats and numbers, and they're like, we're losing money. We're not making any money, and streaming is like costing us tons and tons of money. So that is something also to keep in mind, and affects the platform. You cut your staff as one of your, I don't know if that's their first option, but cutting their staff and doing different platform changes, which they have done during this year, plays a part of how streaming is and how, Twitch is running and how smoothly it's running and what's the viability and this, that. And talking about viability, you also had Twitch change things drastically from 2017 to now. Twitch's viewer viability is totally different. The tags are different. The way people are seeing the front page is different. The way people consume content is very differently. As you can see, YouTube being one of the people that are pushing shorts now, wants you to push shorts, and TikTok being as successful as it was, people were like, TikTok scrolling. You get the TikTok brain. You scroll, you get the scroll brain. It was like a new form of social media. People used to do that on Facebook. I'm sure people used to do that on Instagram. They'd be scrolling through pictures and this and this and this and this and this. But TikTok was a whole nother like beast. And it wasn't just like you follow and you have your own follower section, but then you use your For You page and your algorithm is like talking about stuff that you want to talk about. You talk about cleaning supplies and all of a sudden everything's cleaning supplies. Or you search something on TikTok about Twitch and everything's Twitch streamers or whatever the case may be. It was like so tailored to you and what you're viewing and what you're watching. And short form content is not on Twitch. Streaming is a long thing, right? I can make this video and it's a 30-minute video, or we're getting up to 30 minutes now, which I apologize. We're almost done. We're almost to the end, guys, I promise. But, short form content, you look at the change that Twitch has made on their app, their mobile app, they are going with the TikTok style. They want you to flip their streamers. They want you to look. They want you to scroll. They want you to keep scrolling, keep flipping, keep going, and constantly be on their platform. And, streaming, a lot of people can't spend time like they used to on streaming. They can't do what they used to do back when they're locked up and had hours and hours of watch video and hours watch streamers and people of all kinds. And then lastly, but not least, is real world stuff. And I think people blame Twitch, and Twitch some of their decisions have been maybe part of the reason why things are not profitable. People aren't doing as well as they used to. But let's be honest, things have gone up. And we're going to talk about the Twitch prices here in a second. And this year, we've come to 2024. But when things gotten back to normal, people were going back out in the real world, again, like I said, going back to work, and COVID was slowing down, and COVID now is more under control, and the world is opening back up and open back up. Things have gone up. Inflation has been insane, especially here in the United States. You look at the United States, food's been up. You had housing that's been up. You had constant gas has gone up. All these things have rised and gone in price. And, if that's your goal to own a house one day, your interest rates are up. The housing market's out of control. If you want to ever own a home, those are things that went up in the real world situation. And streaming is one of those things. Disney Plus raised their prices. Amazon Prime raised their prices. It was not just Twitch, but everybody in their streaming content raised their prices, which leads us to this, which is the US and, of course, other countries around the world have raised up their pricing for Twitch subs, tier 1 subs. We're talking about tier 1s. There's 3 different tiers, which we're not going to get into. If you use Twitch, you know what you're talking about. But for tier 1, which is your first tier, it was raised $1. Canada. You gotta calculate the adjust, right? But this was at the beginning of the year. I believe this was in March, if I remember correctly. I can't find a date on here anywhere, but I believe this was the beginning of the year, or March of this year. And then in October, before this video, or after this video is out, you will have a raise in your mobile prices to, you know, affiliate or, you know, be adjusted for this, because iOS and Android or the Play Store wants to take their pay cut of that, so they have to raise the prices there. So it will be more expensive on the mobile app to sub, and you shouldn't be using the mobile app to sub anyway. It's always been more expensive on the app. You always want to use the browser or sub directly on a desktop. And one last thing here that I think people don't talk about, which will go full circle here, is this was 7 years ago. Not the tweet, but she started 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I was 26 or older. A lot has changed in that time. People that watched you at one time, and I'm not saying, you know, hopefully all good things, that, like I said, their jobs change, their careers change. At 26, I had a different job than I have now. My career was just starting in 2017 of March that year. I started a whole different job, which leads up to my career now. People want a family. People want a home. Like I said, people got married. People have gotten kids and marriage and all this stuff. I'm in my 30s now. And it's not that I don't like Twitch. I watch Twitch all the time. I watch people all the time. If I could sub to every single person, I would. I would. I could. But things have changed. Priorities change. I own a house. You know, people, like I said, have kids now, probably gotten married, maybe gone through a divorce, maybe gone through two divorces. Maybe they've gotten pets, they've lost pets, they've gotten jobs, new jobs, they've started a career, they've ended their careers. There's so much stuff that has happened in 2017 till now. 7 years. I'm going to be 33 in a month. 7 years of my life. And to say that Twitch has made terrible decisions this year, and that's the reason why these changes, because of these changes, it's just not feasible for people anymore. I think deep down, for a lot of you, honestly, content creation, or streaming, I should say, is not feasible. It's not doable. And could it be a thing? Can it be doable? Yes. I'm not saying it won't. I don't want to ruin anybody's dreams by any means. But 7 years, a lot has changed. A lot, as we saw through Twitch and through its people, have changed. The top 1%, the affiliation program, the pay of getting Twitch, employees getting laid off, and just the sizing of Twitch and its staffing has gone down. Twitch saying it's losing money and doing things that way, and the way ads work on Twitch are still terrible. Now, and of course, the raising in prices of subs. Now, does this all play a part? Yes. Twitch is not, you know, innocent by any means. Twitch is always going to be a business. It's going to be worried about itself first. It can tell you, you know, night and day that they care about the creators, it cares about the viewers, blah, blah, blah. But that's not always true, because they need to make money too. They have to make money. They will, you know, there's a point of why they paid $1 million for Twitch in the first place. They didn't pay $1 billion for Twitch in 2014 for it to money sink, right? So that is it. I hope this explains things or goes through things a little bit more. Like I said, no hate to the streamer. I don't know anything about the streamer. I just found an interesting tweet and I wanted to talk about it. Hopefully this was interesting and I did a good job. Hopefully, if you do, leave a comment down below when you started watching Twitch. Are you still watching Twitch? And who was the first streamer you watched? Let me know. But until next time, guys, bye now.